It began quietly, almost symbolically. A small metal plaque on a hospital wall, a modest inscription bearing the name of a man who once stood at the center of Britain's royal machine. And then, almost as if history itself had reached out to erase a chapter it no longer wished to acknowledge, the plaque came down. The hospital staff at Chase Farm, part of the Royal Free London NHS Trust, confirmed that the tablet, unveiled by Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the man once known as Prince Andrew, Duke of York, had been removed. It was a gesture that many would overlook, but for royal watchers, it carried the full weight of a monarchy determined to rewrite its story, one act of quiet erasure at a time. Before we dive in, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. The removal of that plaque may appear, at first glance, to be a minor administrative matter. But within the intricate symbolism of monarchy, no gesture is ever truly small. Every wall, every banner, every title reflects the institution's identity, its values, and its message to the public. To remove a name from stone is to signal a deliberate change in narrative. It is a way of saying, that chapter is closed. And in the case of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the once Prince of York, it is becoming increasingly clear that King Charles III has made the decision to close it permanently. The plaque in question was unveiled in 2019 during a moment of ceremonial pride for Chase Farm Hospital in North London. Andrew, still holding his title as Duke of York and serving as patron of the Royal Free London NHS Trust, spoke warmly of the hospital's achievements, praising the dedication of staff and the speed with which the new facilities had been built. He cut the ribbon, he smiled for the cameras, and for a brief moment, he embodied the image of a hard-working royal committed to public service. But just 6 years later, the same trust confirmed the plaque's removal, citing what it described as the events of recent days and the changes to his status. Those changes are nothing short of historic. Just days earlier, King Charles III announced that he had initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles, and honors of his younger brother. The palace statement was direct, almost surgical in tone. It declared that Andrew would henceforth be known as Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, that his lease on Royal Lodge was to be surrendered, and that he would move to alternative private accommodation on the Sandringham estate. And it contained a line that stood out, a line that seemed to underline the moral weight of the decision. Their Majesties wish to make clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Those words were more than ceremonial. They were a direct acknowledgement of the ethical line King Charles is drawing within his reign, a line that places public trust and moral accountability above even the bonds of family. And in that moment, the Crown took its clearest stance yet on the controversy that has haunted the House of Windsor for years. Andrew, of course, has long denied the allegations against him. He has repeatedly maintained that he never met Virginia Giuffre, the woman who accused him of sexual abuse after being trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. But denials alone were never enough to quell the storm. The infamous 2019 Newsnight interview, in which Andrew attempted to clear his name, instead became a defining disaster. Public confidence evaporated overnight, and in the years since, every public appearance, every photograph, every symbol bearing his name has been quietly scrutinized, reconsidered, and in many cases, removed. The Chase Farm plaque is not the first. Back in 2022, another hospital in Belfast saw its own plaque, unveiled years earlier by Andrew, mysteriously disappear from its wall without authorization. That act sparked an internal investigation by the Belfast Health and Social Care Trust, which later confirmed that no decision had been made on reinstating it. The plaque never returned. Its disappearance, like so much of Andrew's public legacy, was quietly accepted as permanent. In the months since his exile from public duties, the former Duke has watched his world contract piece by piece. His military titles are gone, his royal patronages have vanished, even his banner, the colorful emblem of his coat of arms that once hung proudly inside St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, has been taken down. Each removal, each act of quiet dismantling, represents one more layer of identity stripped away, until what remains is a man living under his family name alone, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. And now even his home, the sprawling 30-room Royal Lodge nestled within Windsor Great Park, is no longer his to keep. For decades, the property symbolized both privilege and defiance. It was here that Andrew continued to reside with his former wife, Sarah Ferguson, long after their divorce in 1996. The arrangement, while unconventional, had come to represent a kind of peaceful domestic stability amid chaos. The two raised their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, under the same roof. But that chapter too has come to an end. In what sources describe as a carefully negotiated arrangement, one that, according to palace insiders, was initiated entirely by the king himself, Andrew has agreed to surrender his lease on Royal Lodge and relocate to a smaller, privately owned property within the Sandringham estate. Sarah Ferguson, meanwhile, will make her own arrangements outside Windsor's royal grounds. The palace's language around this move was meticulous. There was no talk of eviction, no forced removal. Instead, it was framed as an orderly transition, one carried out with Andrew's agreement. Yet the subtext is unmistakable. This is a monarchy that has chosen to move forward without him. Speculation persists among commentators about the degree to which the king's decision was influenced by external pressure, particularly from the public or from Prince William, who is believed to have taken a more pragmatic stance on matters of royal image. But palace sources, speaking to outlets such as the Daily Mail, insist the decision was made solely by the king and his advisors. These claims, it must be said, remain unverified. They reflect informed speculation, not official confirmation. What can be said with certainty, however, is that the outcome aligns perfectly with the vision King Charles has articulated since his accession: a streamlined monarchy, accountable, morally grounded, and mindful of its place in a modern democracy. This tightening of royal boundaries has also played out in the realm of honors and rank. Earlier this month, Defense Secretary John Healey confirmed that Andrew will be stripped of his honorary rank of Vice Admiral, a title granted to him on his 55th birthday in 2015. It was the last remaining honorary military position he held, the final vestige of a career once intertwined with royal ceremony and national service. The loss of this title, following the surrender of all others in 2022, marks the complete dismantling of his formal status within Britain's armed forces. For those who have followed Andrew's trajectory, the symbolism of these removals cannot be overstated. The plaques, the banners, the titles, the home, each one represents a fragment of the institutional scaffolding that once sustained him. And now, with each piece dismantled, what remains is the personal rather than the princely, the man, not the monarch.